In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at pages 18 and 19 in the Alfred All-in-One Piano Book Level 1. We're going to start with the bottom of page 18, which is very comparable to what you see back on pages 14 and 15. So if we just turn back for a second, you can see that 14 and 15 cover the same information, but for the treble clef. In fact, everything on pages 14 and 15 is repeated one octave below, so all the same rhythms, all the same letters, all the same shapes and patterns, but this time for the bass clef. So if we go back to page 18, you can see that if you're going to label all of these letters, they're going to be identical to those on page 14. In fact, again, speaking of shape, you can see that this goes up all by steps from C, D, E, F, G, so from C to G, and then back from G down to C. That's exactly the same thing that happens on page 14, but it's in the treble clef, and instead of starting on C3 like it does here, that's C3 on the second space, here it starts an octave above on C4. So here it's the same shape. It goes up by step from C, D, E, F to G, and then back down from G to C. And this will be the same case for all the remaining exercises on pages 15 as compared to page 19 as well. All of it is the same. So what we're going to do is kind of make this a little bit faster because we've already done this work for pages 14 and 15, but this time it's just for the bass clef. So we know what the letters are: C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C. So let's do that with a beat. And so you're going to speak the letters. 1, 2, ready, and C, D, E, F, G, back down, F, E, D, C. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with the letters because, again, it's the same as on the previous pages for the treble clef. The issue, though, is the fingering or the numbers. So on pages 14 and 15, here's what it looked like. Here, number 4 on page 14, the fingering was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here, the fingering is going to be the reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason for that is because your fifth finger in the left hand, the pinky, is all the way on the left side of the hand. So if you're moving up the staff, as we are here, which also corresponds to moving up or to the right on the keyboard, if I move this way in terms of my fingering, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as opposed to the right hand, which starts on finger number 1 and moves this way to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the right hand, moving up simply means going up in terms of numbers. 1 goes up to 2 and so on. In the left hand, going up or to the right on the keyboard means moving down in terms of fingering. As it were, you count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you understand. So let's take a look at these numbers, and we're going to speak them in time. 1, 2, ready, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's play it. So left hand goes back into the 5-finger position on C3, and I'm going to play using the same numbers, right? So remember the letters, C, D, E, F, G, and back down. 1, 2, ready, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do that one more time. Ready, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Let's move on to page 19. So just like number 4 here on page 18 was a series of all steps, as it was for the same number on page 14, here on page 19, number 5 is a series of skips. And you know that, again, just looking at the staff without even worrying about the clef, right, without respect to the clef, you can see that we move from a space to a space to a space. All adjacent spaces, just like all adjacent lines, here's an example of adjacent lines on number 6, these are always going to be skips. So if your second space is C3, the skip up is going to be E, skip up from that is going to be G, and then so on and so forth, just like we did with the corresponding exercise on page 15. So what's hard here, again, are not the letters. What's hard are the numbers. So we're going to start here with number 5, and remember, you're going from 5, skipping up to 3, skipping up to 1, and then as you move down the staff, or to the left on the keyboard, 1 skips down to 3, skips down to 5. All right, so let's make sure that we get let's start with the numbers first, the fingering first. So 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5. Okay, so let's do that now with the beat, and you're going to speak those same fingers, the numbers, with me. 1, 2, ready, and 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5. And finally, just to keep practicing looking at the bass clef and speaking the letters correctly, we're going to say all of these letters, C, E, and G, again in time. 1, 2, ready, and C, E, G, E, C, E, G, E, G, E, C. Finally, let's play it. Okay, so here again is your 5-finger position, 5th finger on C3. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Again, you can repeat it and you can talk over it if you wish. For example, you can speak the letters as you play, or if you're even more advanced, if you have more musical experience, you can try singing the letters, as in, let's see if I can do it. C, E, G, E, C, E, G, E, G, E, C. If you don't feel comfortable matching your voice to the individual letters or keys or pitches that you're playing, then you can just speak the letters. Again, C, E, G, E, C, and so on. You can do the same thing for the fingering, for the numbers. 5, 3, 1, 3, 5. My recommendation is you keep going over it from different perspectives, either just playing with singing, playing with speaking the numbers, playing with speaking the letters, just so you keep practicing this. Let's go on to number 6. Keep practicing and, of course, getting more comfortable. Number 6. So again, as I observed earlier with number 5, we have notation on adjacent lines, right? So here there are spaces, now they're lines, which means we're still dealing with skips. And in this case, if you just scan the line, you can see that it's going to only be 2 individual letters, D and F, and that's it. So if it's on the 3rd line, it's D. If it's on the 4th line, that's the reference pitch F3 for the bass clef or the F clef. So let's go through really quickly and let's speak the letters. That part will be easy, or easier. 1, 2, ready, and. D, F, D, F, F, D, D, F, D, F, D. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's try this with the fingers, right? So 3rd line, D is finger number 4, right? Finger number 4. And the 4th line, F, as you can see, is finger number 2. All right, so let's try that as well. So ready, and. 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. Now we've got to play it. So back in that 5-finger position on C3, we've got finger number 4 on D, finger number 2 on F, and we're going to try this. So remember what we talked about, or what I spoke about. You can just play it, as in this, ready, and. You can play and at the same time speak the letters, ready, and. D, F, D, F, F, D, D, F, D, F, D. You can play it and sing the letters, ready, and. D, F, D, F, F, D, D, F, D, F, D. You can speak the fingers, 4, 2, 4. I don't have to do it again, you get it. You've heard this line plenty of times by this point. Or you can even sing the fingering. 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4. Again, multiple perspectives just so you become very comfortable making that connection, that your eyes scan across the staff, across the line, at the same time your brain processes, and then your fingers play, right? That's why I mentioned in another lesson that eye, brain, hand connection. That's what makes playing the piano while reading music possible. And it just takes some time and practice that you look at the notation, at the, in this case, the staff, and try to process and play. Let's go on to number 7. Number 7 is the hard one because it has 2 lines. So remember the ultimate goal. We're going to play each line separately, but ultimately we're going to play them one after the other continuously. So remember what the pattern here is. It was a skip up, step down, skip up, step down, skip up, and then reverse, which is skip down, step up, skip down, step up, skip down. And what we had done in the previous lesson when we were taking a look at the corresponding exercise number 7 on page 15 is we split these into 2 parts, right? There is the ascent, C ascending to G, and then the descent, which is G descending to C. And we noticed that the second line of number 7 basically just reordered these. So this first half is moved over here, right, from C up to G, from C up to G. And the second half, G down to C, is moved over here. So they're just swapped, right? That's how we understand these 2 lines in relation to one another. Kind of like an X. This connects here, that's one part of the X, and this connects over there. That's the second half of the X, okay? So let's go through the letters because we remember the pattern, skip up, step down, and so on. So ready, and. C, E, D, F, E, G, back down, E, F, D, E, C. That's line number 1. Let's take care of those fingers, right? So remember, if you're skipping up from 5, it's going to be 3. Stepping down is 4. Skipping up is 2. Stepping down is 3. Skipping up is 1. So 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. And then going back down from G, finger number 1, 1 skips down to 3, steps up to 2, skips down to 4, steps up to 3, and skips down to 5. So 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5. Okay, so let's try playing that. So this is the first line of number 7, starting with finger number 5. Ready, and. Okay, so remember, 5 skips up to 3, steps down to 4, skips up to 2, steps down to 3, skips down to 1. skips up to 1, skips down to 3, steps up to 2, skips down to 4, steps up to 3, skips down to 5. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Ready, and. Okay, great. Now, we've already basically played the second line of number 7 because we're just reordering what we just did. So let's just make sure again to practice reading the staff using the bass clef. We're starting here with G, right? That's on the 4th space. We're going to skip down to E, step up to F. Remember, that's your reference pitch F3. You're going to skip down to D, step up to E, skip back down to C, and then the reverse, we're going to skip back up to E, down a step to D, skip up to F, down a step to E, and skip back up to G. So let's speak the letters in time. Ready? And. G, E, F, D, E, C, E, D, F, E, G. And of course, the fingers. 1 skips down to 3. I'll demonstrate this way. 1 skips down to 3, steps up to 2, skips down to 4, steps up to 3, skips down to 5, and then the reverse, right from there, 5, skips up to 3, steps down to 4, skips up to 2, steps down to 3, and skips up to 1. Okay, so it looks like this from the beginning of this line without the piano. In fact, one thing you can do is close this fall board, and if you're not comfortable doing it with the keys yet, another technique is you just do it like this. So I'm going to just tap out this line with the correct fingers. So 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. Let's apply that now to the keyboard. So again, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now let's play without anything in the way of the keyboard. Here is the second line of number 7. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, so remember, pause, review, rewind as many times as you have to really feel comfortable with these lines. Let's try the hard thing. Playing all of number 7, both lines back to back. So from here to there, continuously we proceed down to the second line and all the way to the end. Okay, remember, left to right, top to bottom. Let's try it. Okay, first line of number 7, and just continuously. 1, 2, ready, and. All right. Now, when you watch this the first time, you may decide not to play, which in fact is a good thing because you're just getting a sense of how I'm proceeding through this lesson. But what's important is that look in the book and follow along as I play. So it might just be a good idea in general that you listen first and then you play afterwards. You rewind the spot, you review the spot, and then you start again with me, playing with me, right? And you should try to match the tempo, remember the rate of this beat, to what I'm doing, right? So if I'm snapping or counting 1, 2, 3, 4, you should be doing the same, okay? It'll just make it a little bit easier for us to communicate across time and place because this is not synchronous, obviously. So let's try that one more time, all of number 7, and let's go a bit faster. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, good. So keep practicing, and let's go on to the last one on this page, which is number 8. And as you can see, number 8 is just like the equivalent on page 15. It's a series of unisons, right? Meaning the same letter in the same octave, and then stepwise motion upwards, or a stepwise ascent. So C, C, right? Because that's the second space. D, D, E, E, reference pitch F3, F3, G, G. And the fingering just goes up. Remember, up meaning to the right. So we're going to the right through our fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So no, we don't really have to snap through and speak the numbers and the letters. It's pretty clear. Let's just play it. So starting in this position, ready, and. Okay, so that was numbers 4 through 8 on pages 18 and 19, reviewing the bass clef as well as notation in that clef for the same exercises that you can find on pages 14 and 15, but for the treble clef there.